Hey everybody, this is herculespetix, founder, curator, docent, and gift shop employee of the herculespetix Academy of Comic Book Studies. Today we're going to be looking at Vimanarama, number 1 through 3, a mini-series written by Grant Morrison and drawn by Phillip Bond. This is from 2005, published by Vertigo, an imprint of DC Comics, of course. And this is a really fun series. I haven't read this, I think, since it came out. And I had it on my shelf because I like Grant Morrison, so most of his stuff is pretty damn, at least readable, entertaining. And this is just a really fun little ride. And a lot of fun concepts, a lot of fun ideas, like Grant Morrison likes to do. And let's start off with number 1 here. Really like Phillip Bond's art. It's just very kind of cartoony, but realistic at the same time. Just very a pleasing art style to me. So we're in England. There's this family, an Indian family. I believe they're Indian because they are Hindu, and a lot of the Hindu, at least the almost like early Hindu, like the Vedas, factor prominently in this story. So here's Ali. He's the youngest son, and his father is getting a phone call from his brother Omar, who works at kind of a convenience store. And I guess he's telling the dad, he's like, you got to help me. A bunch of boxes of Turkish Delight fell on me. I'm trapped in the basement. I fell through the floor and I can't get up. So Ali gets on his bike to rescue his brother. I love this opening scene where he rides his bike and it's almost like it's a Bollywood musical. All of a sudden, these soccer playing girls are in lockstep as if they're doing a synchronized dance movement. This police officer is down on bended knee proposing to another female police officer. And it's the only time we see this, but it's kind of fun. So he gets to the convenience store. He lets himself in, and he looks down. There's a hole in the floor. It just collapsed. And there's his brother Omar. So his brother's kind of injured, so the ambulance comes. And the father says, I don't know what happened. I'm going to talk to the city council about this. This is horrible. Apparently there's old mines under the city streets here or something. So we see all the family here. We see Omar's wife and his 2 kids and the father. And so we also find out that on top of all of this drama, that's very same day, Omar is supposed to go to the airport and meet his fiance. It's an arranged marriage. And but he can't go. He's got to be at the hospital for his brother. So Omar is he's the opposite of Ali. Ali is like a dreamer. He's an artist type. His brother is just hardworking and all about responsibility and very old school. So he basically pulls the IVs out of his arm and just is like, I got to get back to work. That store's not going to run itself. And Ali's trying to, say, what are you doing? But mainly, he just wants to talk about his own problems. Basically, he's full of this existential depression. He's even contemplating suicide because he's like, Omar, what if I meet this woman and she's ugly? That'll prove that God hates me. And if that's the case, then I already bought a noose, a rope. Omar, though, was a little presumptive. He collapses, so he can't get back to the store. Ali rides his bicycle back to the store. His family's there. And then the youngest grandson, Omar's child, who's like I don't know, a toddler. His name's Imran. Imran is missing. The grandfather was left in charge of looking after Imran, and he fucked up because Imran's missing. So Ali goes back into that hole, and then when he goes down there, he sees there's a hole in like the brick wall here. And when he enters, it's almost like this bizarre land where there's this amazing, beautiful kind of art mural on the side. And then he finally meets Sophia. This is his arranged marriage fiance. I guess before Ali got there, she said, "Oh, I'll find the baby." So this is his first time meeting her. And so look at this beautiful thing underground. It's like some lost city that's been there for thousands of years. They get in this thing that's kind of like some beautifully ornate elevator that goes down through the water. And when they come out, it's even more amazing. Look at this underground city. This is like 100 feet below the streets of London. I think they're in London. It's just amazing, but it's abandoned. Really like Phillip Bond's art in this. This is some nice stuff. Colors are pretty good too. And so they're calling out for Imran. And then this thing shows up, which looks very much like a mother box. Very much. Ali has his dad's hammer and he strikes at it. And the box goes flying around. And then they finally find Imran. And Imran is kicking these blocks. The blocks are talking. They're like, but in a weird kind of diction. They're like, yes, closer, closer. There's like extra G's in there. And I love to see it leads him to this thing that looks just like, almost like an Atari 2600 console. Wait, why can't I think of that word? Council? No, that's not the word. Fuck it. An Atari 2600 machine. And the little kid hits the buttons, plays with the joysticks, and this gate opens. And this little mother box thing is saying, do not release, emergency, escape alert. And as the gate opens, this creature comes out, and he's like, free after 6,000 years. Venmanarama, come taste my hatred. And Sophia kind of has a feeling that she knows what's going on. She's like, I think we've unleashed the forces of darkness by mistake. And then we see them. And as if the mother box wasn't enough of a tell, these guys look totally like they were designed by Kirby. And, you know, as I was reading this last night, I was like, oh my God, this is like, I mean, Phillip Bond never drew like Jack Kirby before. He always had his little kind of cartoony style, drawing kind of slice of life type stories. But I looked it up on the internet, and this was definitely, they wanted to homage Jack Kirby here. He does a really good job, by the way. I love this Phillip Bond Airsets Kirby. So these are like evil ancient gods. And so Vimana in the old Vedic scriptures, it's basically like a flying chariot. That's what it translates to. But some modern readers think they're talking about UFOs. And they look like them. So these bad guys, I'll get their name in a second. They have a really interesting name. They get into their spaceships, which have been waiting for them for 6,000 years. They're Vimanas. And basically the leader's just saying, burn this world. This world has been taken over by maggots since we've left. Burn it all. And then in the middle of all of this, Ali looks at Sophia and he says, wait, you're Sophia? You're not ugly. And she's just like, how could you be so shallow at a time like this? And we see the guys revving up their Vimanas. I like this coloring here where it's almost like just so bright. So they all fly off to cause havoc, but one guy stays behind. And he starts chasing our heroes around. And the mother box says, use Lotus, summon Ultra Hadin. So they run to the Lotus. They don't know what to do. So he says, try rubbing it like a genie's lamp. She does. And it seems like these kind of light rays emanate from it. And it seems like it hurts this demon. It's keeping him at bay. He's like, so hot. Not make light. I guess these creatures don't like this holy light coming from the Lotus. And then they have summoned the Ultra Hadin, who are like the good gods. And God, look at these designs. I love this guy so much. I was too lazy to actually really delve deep. I was gonna call my friend, who was born in India. I was like, is this a real character from the Devas? Look at this great design. He's almost like a human totem pole. And this really cool looking woman. So and this guy, look at this cool mask. That is like cooler than anything Jack Kirby would have made. Well, I shouldn't say that because Jack Kirby made a hell of a lot of cool stuff. But man, some striking characters. We got this Buddha in an orb. And the leader here says, this is Venmanarama, who summons the Ultra Hadin. And of course, Ali and Sophia are just like, their minds are blown. They're like, what the fuck is going on? So Venmanarama takes off his helmet. And as soon as Sophia sees his face, she says, I've dreamed about you. And Ali says, what? But we're getting married. And look at Venmanarama. He's like he's a god. He's a fucking Adonis. And he seems to recognize her. He says, that dream was our life. It is I, my love, the Prince Venmanarama. Returned to set the worlds to right. Have you forgotten me? And we see that Ollie's kind of a self-centered little turd. He's just like, all he can think about is like, oh, this could only happen to me. Even though the world's about to just be destroyed. And then just to top it off, Imran pukes on his shoulder. Just to rub in the humiliation. So now we have issue number 2. And we see these Vimanara. God damn it. Vimanaras are destroying London. The army's fighting them, but they're totally losing. They have no defense against these godlike creatures. Now, guys, if you've noticed something already, because of all the Kirby influence, this is really like them doing their own version of Kirby's Eternals, his 1970 Marvel comic. 1970s, I meant to say. And, like the Eternals and the Deviants. So you got these reborn bad gods and good guys. Bad guys and good guys fighting this eternal struggle with humans caught in the middle. And so it is very much almost like their version of the Eternals, but with Hindu mythology. And these bad guys quickly take over. Here's the whole cabinet of England, the prime minister and all whatever. And it appears that they were in the middle of an orgy. They're all naked. They don't really comment on it. And these bad guys just fucking tear through them. They rip their heads off. They call themselves the Sons of Flame. That looks so good to me. This kind of Kirby pastiche. And it looks like they've got it all sewn up. Looks like they're going to take over the whole world. So now we're back to the family. And so I'm a little confused, guys. Pardon my ignorance, but they do mention at one point Pakistan. And the women do wear burqas, if that's what they're called. I know I'm probably getting that name wrong. So I don't know if they're Muslim and they just happen to be fighting Hindu gods and they're Pakistani, or they're Indian. There's plenty of Pakistani and Indian immigrants living in England. I was never quite sure, so sorry about that. I'm not sure. But definitely these gods, I looked it up on Wikipedia. They're from the ancient, like almost pre-Hindu scriptures, before Hinduism was codified perfectly. So the father, of course, he's kind of like his son. He's kind of like Ali, where the whole world's going to end and he's just worried about his shop, how there's a giant hole now where the back of his shop used to be. And now Venmarama shows up with Sophia in his arms. And of course, Ali's pretty peeved. He's like, oh, man. And Venmarama basically says, don't worry about all this destruction. All will be remade, but better. All will be restored. Both the evil and the good gods notice that man has turned the earth into a shithole. They comment on like the toxins in the air and just like, oh man, what have these maggots done to earth? They've really fucked shit up. It's really unfortunate that this guy, the totem pole guy that I love, he doesn't talk. And to be honest, even despite their awesome appearances, we don't see the Ultra Hadin get to do much in this comic. And that's something I wanted to comment on. This, and I believe someone on the internet claimed this too. This comic I really like, but it is way too rushed. It definitely needed at least one more issue. The amount of cool ideas and concepts in here, I think it could have got for 6 easily, and it wouldn't have been padded out. But this really just flies by where you're like, okay, we got this cosmic event. I know that Grant Morrison really wanted it to be about Sophia and Ali and Ali's family, more of like a personal drama, definitely, almost like a comedy, because the accent in this comic is on comedy. Almost all the dialogue is, like a funny movie, It's humorous, even though these world-shaking events are happening. God, I love this guy so much. So Venmarama's hanging out with Sophia. He basically kind of vaguely telling her his plans. They have this missile that they're going to destroy the bad guys with. He basically says, my love is entrenched in your genetic material. I can make you immortal once more, and you'll remember being my love. So it's almost like she's a reincarnation or an aspect of his eternal love, Sophia. But she doesn't really want it. She's like, I'm just a girl from the south of England. I never, immortality wasn't in the cards for me. I never even thought about that. I'm not sure I want that. So now we see Omar, who is still running around. He's concussed, just like kind of running around like a half-wit because he had a concussion. And this is a weird scene. He kind of attacks Ali, and he strangles him. He says, "It's all your fault. Why can't you do what you're told?" And he says, "You have to die." It just seemed a little out of character. Then one of the Ultra Hadin show up, the woman, and she calms things down. She says, "You must not fight amongst yourselves." And once again, Venmarama on these giant screens that have appeared. So it's almost like the Ultra Hadin have this like ancient technology. It's almost like that Secret City saga that Jack Kirby created, the Topps comics, And it almost seems like, yeah, these bad guys are really fucking up the world, but things are going to be way better now that we're back. And once we defeat them, the world will almost be like this utopia. They keep promising this. So people are trying to fight back against the bad guys, and they're failing pretty badly. The humans are. But the Ultradine are pretty damn powerful. And they start turning the tide of battle and start kicking the shit out of the bad guys. There's an awkward conversation between Ali and Sophia. Ali's like totally in love with her already. Even though it's just an arranged marriage. He never met her before this day. Of course, Sophia's more level-headed. And she's just like, whatever, dude. We got bigger fish to fry right now. So then Ali's all like being kind of pouty and self-pitying. He's like, oh, just go to him. You know I'm just kind of a loser. And this fucking God is in love with you. Go to him. She says, no, don't be silly. Give me 5 seconds. She runs up to Venmanarama and she tells him, she says, I'm really flattered, but I'm sorry, I don't love you. I just met this boy with lovely, sad eyes, and I think I can have a crush on him, but I don't on you. I'm sorry. And then Venmanarama collapses. He says, without your love, I'm powerless. And all of a sudden, he becomes all too human. He actually becomes a big wuss. Or just a leaf blowing against his cheek, landing on his cheek. He's like, the pain. Because, he's been a god for all eternity or whatever. Millions of years, thousands of years. He's never felt any pain or discomfort. But now without Sophia's love, he becomes very susceptible to anything. He's feeling everything, heightened. If somebody just pokes him, he'll be like, And so now it looks like the bad guys have got the upper hand here. The deviants, if you will. And basically, it looks like Venmanarama is just like, he's in a fetal position, just like, So basically, the bad guys are trying to find the lost city of Atlantis. Back when they were last on Earth 6,000 years ago, Atlantis was, not underwater. And the Ultradine, without Venmanarama leading them, they're like, okay, we still must fight. Sound the last trumpet. Sound the horn of Jabril. And look at this thing. I'm pretty sure this is a Kirby invention. This looks very similar, at least in my shitty memory. I think Kirby has something that looks just like this in one of his comics. And then Sophia runs to Ali's house. She says, Ali, where are you? What have you done? Ali's hung himself, just like he promised in the first issue. But it's not for the reason he said in the first issue. He actually kind of just wanted to transport himself to the land of the dead. And he's like, I need to go to this other dimension to get help to save the world. This is a damn breakneck pace comic. I love this cover. Really nice of Sophia. I love her schnoz, the way he draws it. I love me a big schnoz. So he's in this, the land of the dead, I guess? And he sees all these duplicates of himself. They start doing some really interesting, trippy storytelling here with the panels. Back in reality, of course, Sophia's trying to get Ali down. And then the mother runs in. I believe this is the mother. And luckily the oldest grandson has some shears and he cuts the rope. So it looks like, we're not sure if Ali's dead or not, but he is in the land of the dead. And then there's some amazing, cool, trippy art here. Look at Ali's face. Portions of his face are just floating away like bubbles, leaving him faceless, basically. Really fun stuff. And once again, really nice colors. I should tell you the colorist. That's a remiss of me. Well, I'll tell it to you when the credits come. So he's basically having this trippy experience, and he's trying to, like, I don't know, talk to the people in the dead dimension, the gods there, to get help. And then things get really amazing. Guys, this is like one of my favorite panels I've seen in months. All of a sudden, his features turn into words. Finger, finger, finger. Palm, thumb. Collar, neck, teeth. Face, nose, eye, ear, head. That is so fucking cool. And the weird thing is, it kind of looks like Kirby. Kirby never did this. But it reminds me of some of those like God portfolios he did. Just the weird shape of the head and the trippiness of it. Back to reality. Sophia starts doing CPR, hoping she can revive Ali. And now we see basically Venmanarama is in bed. And the female goddess is looking after him, hoping that he shakes it off. We have some more of this crazy, cool, trippy stuff. He can sense what's going on in reality. So he says, she kissed me. Because she gave him CPR, you know. He's like, no wonder I'm losing my concentration. So whenever he loses concentration, he starts doing this shit. But then someone grabs his hands and says, there you are. And it's Omar. Now we realize that this land of the dead is not necessarily just for the really dead. It's for people kind of maybe on the brink of death. So Omar is passed out from his concussion. So he's kind of in this land of the dead. But he's really not dead. He's in a coma in the real world. Here we see him in the real world. His wife finds him. He's like, Omar, oh my God. Here we see this, once again, angel wasp. But it's just the words. We do see the wings, though. And it bites Ali's nose. See, this is only like, I don't know, a third of this issue. I mean, this shit could have definitely been extended. So much of this could have been extended. All the Ultra Hadin fighting the bad guys. I mean, you can squeeze that in, even though it's a very human drama/comedy. And then the father shows up. Because I guess the father had a mild coronary from all the stress. He's not quite dead either, but he's on death's door. So he gets to be in the land of the dead. Meanwhile, the bad guys are just wreaking havoc. And they basically, it seems like America is Atlantis. And I guess thousands of years ago, they raised it up. So they're basically going to bury down into the bowels of Manhattan and find these weapons of mass destruction, of divinely mass destruction. So Venmanarama is sitting there basically whining in bed, just saying, oh, everything feels so bad. The pain of simply living is unbearable, but I must not falter. I am Venmanarama, and I must, whatever, save the day, even though it's excruciating. We see his buddies. They're trying to use that horn thing, the Kirby-like device. And Venmanarama says, I'm here to help, guys. Back in the realm of the dead. God, guys, this is amazing. And we see this. We finally see one of these, like, gods of the dead realm. This is just such a great, cool design. The way the colorist makes it almost look like it's neon lit or something. Glowing from within. Amazing. The father says, take me, not my son. And he says, I can't. Ali's the only dead one here. You guys aren't really dead. You're just kind of in a coma or you're on the brink of death. So Venmanarama shows up. And he has this little vial that he was going to give Sophia. This is the thing that would give her immortality. Now, back to another reality. We see Omar waking up. His wife slaps him, and he wakes up. So he's not in the land of the dead anymore. And Omar is with Ali in the real world. And he says, Ali's dead, no. And they've had a very contentious sibling relationship. They're basically night and day. But Omar reveals his feelings. He just says, don't die, I love you. And so Venmarama just left the elixir there in that little jar. And of course, Sophia's all like, maybe I can turn this all around. I love this little, once again, this Land of the Dead has so many cool, like, surreal, interesting things. And he says, I found something. I think it's the edge, but I don't see any. And we see him picking at the corner of the comics page. I'm a sucker for stuff like this. And look at this. It almost makes you like go back a few inches like, whoa, I'm blinded. And he sees angels. And then all of a sudden it looks like he's disintegrating. And we see this. And then we hear Venmarama's heavenly voice saying, wait. And Venmarama followed to the land of the dead. He tells him, let me be the hammer in your celestial hand, the herald of a new radiant age. And so he wakes up. So obviously Sophia gave him the elixir. We see a little drop on his lip here. And he's not only alive, but he says, I feel amazing. And right then, it looks like the bad guys have found the weapons of Atlantis, these ultimate weapons. Oh, I'm sorry, the leader's name is Lord Ul-Shatan. But then all of a sudden, the sky split open. And we see Venmarama in his armor. Foes of creation tremble. Peace be upon you, Ul-Shatan. I love the idea of a hero, as he's about to decimate his nemesis, saying, peace be upon you, instead of like, I'm going to kick your ass. We see this musical chord resonating almost like a nuclear bomb, like a mushroom cloud. And now we kind of jump ahead. They found pieces of Ul-Shatan orbiting the sun near Mercury. He was pretty much obliterated. And so we realize the world has become kind of a utopia. I'm sure there's still problems, but it seems like a lot better. Fridges that run on prayer, telepathic telephones, and the sky filled with vitamins. It's just this weird, surreal place now. And the father is watching new people don't need to watch TV or the internet. Just these globes have information. They just float through the air. So the father is watching with Imran, the little grandson. And he says, 3 teenage morons crashed a Vimana into the left eye of the moon. And we see Sophia. It's pretty implied that they become an item. And she says, okay, take care of the moon, superstar. Like she says, it's you they want to save them, not the weird guy with the arms for antlers. The guy I like a lot. I guess everyone thinks he's kind of creepy. And so he says, Ali to the rescue, and he puts on the helmet of Venmarama. And as he gets into his Vimana, heading to the moon, he laughs gloriously. And it just ends with, it is written. Vimanarama. Oh, God, there's so much. Like, I at least want a sequel to this. This is such a great little world he created. I would love to see this divine world that Earth has become. All the differences. Just the idea of, like, what was it? TVs that run on prayer or whatever it was. Microwaves that run on prayer. It's like it's just scratching the surface. But I'm curious if you agree with me, guys. If you want to comment, doesn't this seem very rushed? Like, there's so much rich material here, and we don't touch on a lot of it. And I still think this is a great comic. I don't think it's bad because of that. I'm just would have been liked it a lot more if Grant Morrison just even had just one more issue to let it breathe more. But overall, fun as hell comic. Just really, it's almost like a feel-good comic, you know? It's just like pretty sweet, pretty funny, and also like some amazingly cool visuals and ideas and concepts. Oh, the colors are by a guy named Brian Miller. I've never heard of him before. I like his stuff, though. This is some nice coloring. So there you have it, guys. Vimanarama, number 1 through 3. Kind of, I have a feeling this is like a forgotten Grant Morrison thing because there's no superheroes in it, even though the Ultra Dean are pretty superheroic. So I hope you guys like looking at it with me. I had a great time rereading it last night. I forgot the whole thing. I couldn't remember a damn thing about this comic. And I'm glad that I kept it all these years and my intuition was correct because it's a damn good comic. Definitely something you could find for cheap. I think I got some of these in quarter bins, actually. Pretty sure I did. So thanks for watching, and I hope to see you next time here at the Herculespetix Academy of Comic Book Studies.